everybody. How you doing today? This is Miss G, and you're watching Music Biz with Miss G. Today's guest is going to be Floss Jones, and today we're going to be talking about something totally different, but it's part business and part, casual. We're going to be talking about getting back into the music as an independent artist after you took a break, life happened, something happened, and then you decide that, like, hey, I really love doing this and I want to get back into it. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Floss Jones. Floss, how you doing today, babe?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain.
I know that's
Another day in
right.
paradise.
So tell the people who you are and where you're from and what genre of music that you partake in, sir.
Well, I was born in Hopkins, South Carolina, born and raised in Hopkins, South Carolina, and a little bit of West Columbia, South Carolina also. So I kind of
Okay.
got the East Columbia and West Columbia mixed in me,
Okay.
and also my music is more like hip hop R&B. It's like it's not like trap music. It's more like
So would you
smooth.
say it's like traditional rap where we used to use like R&B in the background or maybe rock in the background, but it was more of a flow of music and not the chop of trap?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay,
It's more like it's kind of like it's really influenced mostly by '90s R&B.
okay, okay, okay. And yeah, and that's when they used to use a lot of sampling and a lot of R&B beats basically because they really didn't have was back then people don't understand. We have all these beat
Yeah,
machines and all these daggone. You go on a computer and click a drum and click a thing. You had real people actually in there making the music, especially in
making
the 80s. It was like it was a band in there
real
and everything
instruments.
was going down. They don't understand that. But let's get down to the topic. So tell people, I know you had, sat down for a sec and then decided, well, hey, you and I had that conversation and it was like, hey, I think I want to go ahead and do this. And what obstacles started to become in your way? What things started happening for you that kind of made it a little harder to just pick up where you left off at, if that's the right terminology?
Yeah, perfectly. Well, let me start it. It was like 2011. I was like almost on the brink of getting signed to a major label, Def Jam, Island Def Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Deals and everything was being worked out. Like it was getting to the point, and on the fourth quarter, my old label, which I refused to name, they basically held them up, saying that y'all don't want the label, y'all just want Floss. So in order to get Floss, you got to give us $2 million.
Oh wow! And people don't understand that. People don't know that they try to do the whole package thing. Okay, wow. So
Yeah,
you
and
you in
you
turn
know,
got left out and hung out to dry because the label that you were going towards just wanted you and didn't want to take on a label as a sub label. That what you're saying?
yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
it happened to a lot of artists because I guess some of these people who these little indie labels, little subsidiaries that sign artists, they figure that if those artists get major or get signed, they're gonna forget about them. But I look at it like this: why would you forget about the person that kind of got you there?
Right.
Like,
Right. I mean, there
there's a
are people that do, but a majority of people do not. They'll you reach back and grab, pick up. Yeah. So go ahead,
because sometimes
continue.
in business, yeah, because
Uh,
sometimes that's like even working on a regular job. Like you come in as a regular employee, and then a couple of years you outgrow that and you become a supervisor, and then you become a regional. Stuff like that. It's steps, it's levels.
right.
So, and I was already in the game close to like maybe like 12 years already.
Hmm.
I was already
So
doing it since
you would say
then.
you were a seasoned indie artist at the time when everything was getting ready to go down
Exactly.
anyway. Okay.
Yeah, I was already an artist, and that whole thing just caused me to be like, got a sour taste in my mouth, and be like, you know what? Forget this. I kind of quit something that I never ever should have done
And you shouldn't have
because I
because you
gave.
had your music is phenomenal. I've heard it. I've heard the production of it, the whole 9 yards, and it is phenomenal. So
Yeah,
with that being said, how would you say the game has changed from then to then? I want to say it was possibly a little easier to get in the door versus today. What's your take on that?
man, I got a perfect analogy for that. When
All
I was
right.
doing around my era, I'm not even gonna say my era because it wasn't really. I'm not that old, but
Mm-hmm.
around the time of 2011, we still was getting a little bit of the. We was getting a little bit of the CD selling CD era. I think
Right.
physical copies was like, to me. I'm not trying to sound old school, but it is what it is. I believe it was better when it was physical copies. That's how I felt about it. It felt like you had a you had a Walmart, which is a big super center. Then you got
Mm-hmm.
a Dollar General over here. You got a Family Dollar over here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back from the game and got back into the game, I was like, man, there was a lot of WalMarts.
Right.
Like,
Right. Right.
yeah, it's a
But
lot
but,
of
but
yeah,
with the game the way it used to be, right? And I'm with you because if I pay for something, I want a physical copy in my hand. I'm just that's just gotta have it. You know, like ordering movies on TV and ordering music on your phone just kind of throws me a little off because I don't have the physical. But the plus of that is, yeah, don't have to worry about it getting skipped, scratched, or stolen because it's in your phone,
yeah,
unless your whole phone gets stolen. But then when you upload to the new phone, it's still there. So, um, but it is very much different because of the hard copy. Because, I'm from the cassette era. So, I'm telling my age. So I'm from the cassette era where it was cassettes. You put it on a cassette,
yeah,
you take it to you stand outside the radios, the label and wait for somebody to come out and bum rush it. I'm from that era. And then we went to
yeah. I got a little bit of that.
yeah, and then we went to CDs and stuff. But I actually went to a seminar 2 Januaries ago, and Master P was there, Chris Gotti. There was a whole bunch of people there, and Chris Gotti saw me, and I had one of my artists, press stuff. And I did have the
Yeah,
press pack where I had a thumb drive in it, and I had the bio, the one sheet, and all that in there. And he turned around, looked at me, and he said, "Yo, Ma, let me holler at you." And I said, "All right." So he's like, "Yo, if you need anything, let me know. But we don't do CDs no more." He said, "We do QR
yeah, that's
codes
great.
and thumb drives."
Yeah,
And I'm looking at him like, "Okay, but I'm from South Carolina. In South Carolina, we do CDs. But even now, people still burn
yeah,
CDs. However, the move is different when you go to different places. So whereas back in the day, fashion was way ahead when you was up north and overseas and stuff like that. Now that we have technology, you can get what they have overseas and keep up with the fashion. However, the technology is faster other places, and then it trickles down to me to different things that we do
yeah,
in the industry. So whereas they do certain things maybe in the upper east side of the industry, the upper east side of the United States, and then the lower southeast side of the United States. Whereas on West Coast, the lower part and the upper part, everybody does something, they move different. And that's the thing. Because if
yeah,
you conquer one quarter, one area, you know, um, you kind of, how you say, you can kind of get it, but then you got to find out what your game plan is going to be when you move upward. But in any event, so with that being said, what happened with your comeback? I mean, how were you received when you came back?
well,
Story to tell.
actually, I made like 2 attempts to come back. before I actually try to come back this time, and this time it's actually sticking. Thanks to your motivational speeches that you
Oh,
be giving
I
me to make
appreciate that.
But okay, the first attempt for me trying to come back was when I did a song with this artist named Marcus Allen,
Hmm.
and we was in Atlanta and we did a show. And when I did that show with him, because I was already off the scene, it was maybe a couple years. I was off the scene, maybe like 2 years already, maybe going on three. So I had it was amazing how I picked up and just got back on it like a bike and rode it like a bicycle. Like I took to like a duck to water. But the thing was, when I did that show with Marcus Allen, he showed me how far behind I was. Like, because when I met this dude, like when I first I was hearing about him through his manager for the longest. Because I did the song with him, like I maybe did the song maybe like a couple years before I stopped. But the song just started surfacing. It was a single that we had called Sweat It Out, and I put a verse on it.
Right, and let people, I'm just going to interject real
time.
quick to let people know that just because it's old to you does not mean it's old to the industry. But go ahead.
Exactly. Well, and exactly, my point's exactly like saying that people started messing with the song. Radio stations started playing the song or whatever, and I did a show with him. And man, I tell you, this dude had his stuff together. Like
I like Marcus Allen.
He had pop-up things. Man, Marcus Allen is a good dude. Shout out to Marcus Allen and James Garner, man.
Right.
They are professionals. Like everybody who I took to Atlanta with me, because when I was about to get my deal with Def Jam, I was in Georgia for a little while. And everybody who I took with me before that, they was like, they had stars in their eyes. They was like starstruck. They was like, oh my God. Like coming from South Carolina, a lot of people never really experienced the music scene in Georgia compared to this music scene. So it was like, wow. But I took them two guys to Atlanta with me. They was like, okay, cool. We're in Atlanta, you know? But when I seen all the promotional stuff, Marcus, I will say this about Marcus. I hate to talk about another artist, but I gotta give credit where credit's due. He one of the artists that has his stuff together.
He does, and his manager does too. And James is very humble. I like James because James doesn't have he don't have the I'm that guy head. He's one of us.
Yeah, and he's one of the coolest guys you ever want to meet. Like, because that's what made me realize. I was like, oh, hold on. Let me get back in the game. I gotta come correct. Mark Allen showed me that I had to come correct. So I was wow. So that was my first attempt. So I took a little break from that. I kind of got discouraged because at the time I was feeling like I was getting too old to do it and all that. Because the game was getting younger and younger. The music was getting younger and younger. And I felt like I was getting left behind because I took a long break. Because, you know, in hip hop, if you take 2 weeks, that's like 2 months.
Yeah.
And 2 months is like 2 years.
Right. So and the more time you take, the harder it is to pick it up. However, we did have the conversation the other day about the content of the music. So if you're trying to do music and you've gotten older and you're still a hip hop head, which is fine, you can't be up there talking about no grams on this and you know 3.5s and guns and girls and clubbing and stuff like that, because that ain't gonna work, bruh. So how do you
and see the thing
about what?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You were saying something.
Yeah, but the thing about what?
I was jumping into what you were saying because what you were saying was real. Like nobody should be no older artist shouldn't be talking about no trapping and no grams. That's like, yeah, you got to grow up. And this because the game is about growth. You're a veteran in this game, because I feel like that's something that a lot of the veterans not doing like they did back in the days. Like you'll have like Ronald Isley working with R. Kelly, and he would show him some of the ropes to some of the way they used to do it, and mix with a little bit of how they do it. And you don't see that a lot of that today. Like a lot of the legends or the vets in the game, they don't really tell the young dudes, "Hey man, this is how we did it, and maybe we should work together," because
you gotta remember now. This is a different breed of young kids we got now, because they don't listen too well.
Yes,
they're not built like us. Like when somebody tell you something and you respect that, You know, these kids
Yeah,
is cut from a different cloth. And so the other thing is
entitled.
like when you said about when we were talking about the older artists, I mean, you got artists that started out young, like L.L. Cool J started out when he was like
Yeah,
16. All right. But
yeah,
the only reason why he would do songs that he did when he was 16 is because he's doing the songs that he made when he was 16. However, when he started, when he was still doing a little bit of rap when he got older, his whole vocabulary changed. You know, Method Man, his
yeah. He grew
vocabulary
up.
changed. Clifford's vocabulary was phenomenal. It was like, what? I mean, you listening to Method Man, you had to have a dictionary. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
I know that
Exactly. Yeah.
I know that you had a incident that happened, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little break right now, and you're listening to Music Biz with Miss G. I'm your host, Miss G, and my guest is Floss Jones, and we're gonna be right back at you. So give us a sec. We'll be right back. All right, then we're gonna play around. And we're back. You're listening to Music Biz with Miss G. I am your host, Miss G, and I'm back with my guest, Floss Jones. So I know you had a situation where you did a song that you were telling me about, and I believe I heard the song as well, and it had a message
Yeah.
to it. And when you put the message out there, something happened that was not so cool. What happened? Tell me the story about that.
Yeah. Okay. That is crazy. When I first started working on this new album, Life Owed Me a Win, the album was finished. Everything was done. Everything was done. And then Phil Banks called me, who basically produced the whole project for me. My
Let them know
nephew,
who
by the
Phil
way.
Banks is, because Phil Banks is that dude. If you want your stuff done, Phil Banks is that
Yes,
dude.
Phil Banks is that dude. Like he has a lot to do with why I came back. Like
Mm-hmm.
he had a lot to do with why I came back. I'm talking about like, see, I'm
His
one of them type of
engineering,
people.
his production is sick. His production is very
Yeah,
sick.
him.
Yeah, his production is all that.
Yep, him and my dude, Kingpin Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Them two guys and Bugatti Black, them three, they had a lot to do with why I came back, and they helped me a whole lot on this project too. But I'm about to get into what we was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the album finished, so Phil was like, "Floss, we need something else on this album. We need something else on this album." I was like, "What, another song?" He was like, like you need an intro on this album. So I had another nephew that produced that beat for the intro, John Benjamin. We call him
Mm-hmm.
John B.
Mm-hmm.
So when we first started working on the album, we tried to figure out what to do with all the production that we had. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, you know what? I will feel so not complete without putting John B tracking John B on this album. And it was an original song at first that I
Mm-hmm.
sent Phil, but Phil was so good at editing and so great at engineering and ideals. He was like,
Hello, everyone. How are
"Boss,
you
I got an
doing?
idea."
This is Miss Lisa from Diamond Law Entertainment. I'm coming to you to let you know that not only do we do music in here, we also do small business startups. So I have packages starting at $475, and I would love to help you get your business started. What we're doing is making it so that everyone can be doing something in their community, because you do know that small businesses are the bloodline of the community. So when you're ready to get started and you want to start up your small business, it could be the favorite thing that you love to do or something that you've always done, your hobby, whatever it is, it can be turned into a small business. And so give us a call at 843-696-3981. Make your appointment. Let's sit down and discuss what's best for you. Thank you for choosing Diamond Law Entertainment LLC, and we hope to see you soon.
How about you take the verse off here and you make a speech about what's
Oh.
going on? Because at this time, George Floyd just got killed. So it was like fresh, you know.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do that. But the guy is so intelligent, so talented. I did it from my voice recorder.
Uh-huh.
And I did maybe like 2 hours. I did maybe like an hour or two of speech. He chopped it up and put the right stuff together. And he was like, He sent it back to me. He's like, I'm gonna tell you right now, Floss. I listened to this at least 20 times before I sent it to you. He's like, this speech that you put on here is going to stir up some stuff. I was like, yeah, I heard it too. I was like, so as soon as so maybe like a couple days after I started promoting the project, giving people like a little link for the preview of it, I goes on my Facebook page, on my fan page, I get threats. Nigger, we gonna hang you when we see you.
Oh my God, like deep like that?
Yeah, like man, I was getting threats from all. Yeah, your music is trash. Like, yeah, they were saying all kinds of stuff like you need to stop talking about Black Lives Matter because he said it was all kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, I got threats from it. So when I did that, I looked at it like, well, I did my job if I did that.
Yes, you did. If you struck a nerve that deep, you did your job, sir. Wow. So they were bold enough just to come right up on the Facebook and just blurt something out like that. Crazy.
Yeah, they was posting.
But no, nobody physically ran up on you though, right?
Oh heck no.
I'm just asking, bro. I'm just asking because you know you got to ask these questions because I know somebody's thinking when I'm, you know. So, oh my God.
Yeah, they were just trolling probably, but I'm pretty sure somebody would have tried me, of course, if they would have.
Oh, no doubt, if they knew where they could find you. But still, so with that being said, were you nervous? Did you like what is going on? Like, what came through you with that?
When I first got the threats, I told Phil Banks about it, and I told my daughter about it, and I felt like, you know what? If it was meant for me to put this on this project, for them to have the reaction that they had, then I feel like there's a lot of people out here who still got hate in their heart. And what I put on the album wasn't the intro. What I was saying, basically, we aren't treated as equals. And people don't look at it like that. Those people who made the threats, they don't look at it like that. Because I feel like it's like 2021. Nobody should be racist.
I mean, they're not supposed to be after all the marching and everything and all the good trouble everybody was getting, and they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. However, and,
we got if you ask me, we got slung back about 40 years in 4 years. That's my opinion. But so with that being said, because we're actually like, not for nothing, we're actually repeating history. Because in the 50s and 60s, when you was going through, the water hoses, breaking into stuff, marching, you know what I'm saying, making noise. Of course, because it's 2020, 2021, it's a whole nother situation. Because now we're not our ancestors, so we don't react like they do. So it's totally different. It's a different era. So, but in any
and when I made this,
go ahead.
And when I made the speech, I felt like I had used my inner Martin Luther King when I made the speech, because what people don't know is me and Martin Luther King's birthday is a day apart. I'm a Capricorn, he's a Capricorn. So those Capricorns are real creative, powerful.
So are you on the 14th or the 16th?
Right. So when I made the speech and then he felt the way they made the dress.
You starting to chop up. You're going to have to go back. You're starting to chop up. You still there, Floss? Because you're starting to chop up. Floss. Yeah, you there? You back? No, you stuck. You back?
You see me?
Yeah.
Dang, my speech was that powerful, it cut me off.
Yeah, it did. It did. You good?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, well, go ahead. So, you left off at start all over again with Martin Luther King's birthday. Your birthday's a day apart.
Yeah, me and Martin Luther King birthdays are a day apart. He's on the 15th, mine is on the 16th. And
Okay.
when I made that speech, I was like, this is how Martin Luther King felt when he had to deal with all that. This is how Malcolm X felt when he had to deal with all that stuff that they had to deal with back in the day. So those were some terrible times back then. Like, but I feel like just right here in life, sometimes we have to make sacrifices, and sometimes we become a sacrifice because I feel like what happened to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, it was a sacrifice that it's weird, but it was a sacrifice that had to happen for
For
them
the awareness
to
to come about. And see, people are
understand.
sitting up there saying that George Floyd is a just to get off subject a second, that George Floyd is, he's a criminal, he did this and he did that. So we already know that. That's not why his pictures are going up. That's not why he's
Yeah,
being
exactly.
remembered. No matter what he did in his past, trust and believe he died a victim. Okay, he was a
Yeah, he died
victim
a
of police
victim.
brutality. So,
He was a
with that
victim of
being
police
said,
brutality.
when you see
Exactly.
George Floyd's picture, you're not looking at George Floyd and saying, "Oh, he did this and he did that, and he did this and he did that." No, you remember that 8 minutes and 46 seconds is what you remember. Okay, so when you do
Exactly.
a
You remember
speech,
that.
coming full circle back to what you're talking about. So when you do a speech in your music, you're going to remember that Floss Jones said blase, 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 and that really happened. And that's really how it is. And that's really how it's going down. And people don't understand, not only can you talk around your music, the power of your music and what you say and how you say it is going to be what's remembered.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like what people don't understand as artists, as entertainers, we have a platform that George Floyd didn't have.
Right.
But we have a platform that Breonna Taylor didn't.
We have a
Like
platform that Ahmaud Arbery don't have.
that Amar Arbery don't have. That's right. We
Right.
got the power to talk about and bring this stuff up to the light because you're never, ever, ever going to be out of the dark until you see the light.
But see, we had artists like that back in the day. You had your Gil Scott
Yeah.
Heron, who used to talk
Yeah.
about, and he used to talk through his music, sing through his music. You had your Sly and the Family Stones. I mean, granted, they talked about certain things that you shouldn't talk about, but it was real stuff, you know. Then, if you want to get technical, you had your Straight Outta Compton, you had your Easy E's, you had your Ice Cube, and your Dr. Dre's and all of that. And they was talking about for real stuff, and people didn't
That was
understand the
going
difference
on.
between West Coast and East Coast. Yeah, we had little problems on the East Coast, but it was nothing like coming out your house and the police almost spitting in your face, sticking a gun in your face for no reason, and you didn't do nothing. You know,
Yeah.
so
And it's like,
people don't understand that.
yeah, people don't understand that. Like, just because the man had a criminal past, but he had no right to die. He
No,
had no right to get brutalized
no.
by
And the funky thing
cops.
is, the funky thing is, we don't even know if the 20 was real or fake yet. Does anybody know?
Exactly.
The 20, they went after him for a fake $20 bill. We don't
Yeah,
know
we
if the
don't
$20
know.
bill was really fake or not. We don't know.
Just
I don't
like,
know. I didn't hear if it was fake or not. So
and I feel like this right here, like, and I always look at stuff like the different, like the whole capital thing.
mhm.
If that was a bunch of us, we would have made it to the door.
Don't say us. Said that was a bunch of black people. Point blank. Tell it like it is. If it was a bunch of black people,
Yeah.
first
A
and
bunch of black people
foremost,
who would have made
they'd
it to the
had
door.
every cop in Maryland, D.C., Virginia. They'd had the whole DMV out there.
You know,
They had the
everybody would
whole
have.
DMV. Would have shut that down right quick.
Yeah. And
But
I feel like one of the people that I know, he a buddy of mine. Matter of fact, he told me he a white guy. He was like, I'm gonna tell you like this, Floss. When I heard your intro, I felt, and if any person get offended by what you said, they're racist. And this
oh
was a
wow.
white dude telling me that.
Okay.
It was a white guy telling me that. And
Mhm.
he told me, he was like, I felt what you said. He said, matter of fact, I even played it back a couple of times. He was like, if anybody get offended by this, then they racist. That's what he said.
And we're gonna hear that before the show ends, people. We are gonna hear that because I know now y'all want to hear what Floss got to say. But let me ask you this: what was your inspiration? Which I should have asked at the top of the show. But what was your inspiration for getting into music, and who do you appreciate from your '90s era that you speak of the music you like then, to who you appreciate now?
Man, I got a lot of people who kind of inspired me to get into music, but I'm just going to go back all the way old school. It was the Motown sound, really. It was like how Berry Gordy just took one state, one city, one town or whatever, and took over the music and lit it up. And I feel like being from here made me realize we could do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it just gotta be the right type of leader to lead, because a lot of people want to be chiefs instead of Indians. And then people like the Isley Brothers, of course, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. I was a huge advocate of that era when Nothing But a G Thing and all that came out. Biggie and Pop. But this sound real crazy. A lot of people don't understand. The wrestler, Ric Flair, he kind of inspired me to rap.
Yeah, but I don't think you're the first person that said that, because I want to say,
well,
didn't somebody make a song that was inspired by him or something?
Yeah, that came from me. That's another story.
Well, go ahead.
But he was one of the people that inspired me, and I would say LL Cool J.
Mm-hmm.
People like Rakim, 8-Ball and MJG, all those people that I listened to going in high school, they inspired me, because I was doing music ever since I was in middle school. Like, I was practicing when I was maybe like 13, 14, but I
don't mean to crack, but there ain't too much to do in Hopkins. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm just saying. So if you don't have a hobby or you don't have something, you getting in trouble, because there ain't too much to do out there.
Yeah, in Hopkins, because
there ain't nothing to do out here either. But yeah.
And I kind of and I will say this about Hopkins, like, most of my family from Hopkins, so when they used to pass, some of the people used to pass by and see me walking around in my yard. They used to stop my brothers and my sisters and my dad and be like, "Hey, what's up with Jeff? Is he talking to himself?" No, he coming up with songs like that. They thought I was crazy. They thought I was like retarded or something. They like, is he talking to himself? I see him every time we pass by. We see him walking by. Like, trust me, he's coming up with songs.
Right.
So my first time I ever been on the radio, when I was maybe like 18, 19, I was DJ Prince Ice heard some of my music, and he was like, "Dude, I don't know what it is, but you got talent." Because I practice every single day. I used to practice every single day, like a fighter practice for a fight or an athlete practice for a game.
So let me ask you this: do you have any gospel background, or is it just straight listening to the radio type of background?
Sam Cooke.
I just saw that movie too. One Night in Miami. Yeah.
Sam Cooke was like my family wasn't really raised in church like that. Like, but I knew of church, and my mom used to play a lot of gospel music, like Mahalia Jackson and Shirley Caesar and all those, and the Winans, of course. So I heard some of it, but Sam Cooke was always like my favorite. Like, Sam Cooke was like, as far as gospel music, Sam Cooke was my favorite.
Okay.
Like, because the way he did his music is kind of how R&B started.
Right.
From gospel, it became R&B, then it became pop. So music is like.
But everything got mocked. Everything got mocked and switched. It got mocked to do the same thing, and then it got switched up a little bit just to change the sound to appease a different audience. So but now that's called copyright infringement.
Copyright.
Yeah, that's what it's called now. Back then it was just snatch and go, hook it and book it. So
they're getting sued now though. The old school artists coming back and getting them now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 But it depends. People don't realize on the business side, it depends on how old the song is and how they have it set up in their copyright. Because if it's copyrighted,
yeah,
for like I know some songs back in the day was only copyrighted for 20 years. So after that, it's free reign. Certain songs like Happy Birthday and all that stuff, that's just off limit. I mean that everybody can use. It is what it is.
It'll come
you have
what you call
songs that
public domain.
You have songs that are locked down for life. So whoever jumps on that, they're gonna have to go through the heirs, and the next to heirs. So yeah. But people, those are things to investigate in the industry before you do, so you don't get trapped off.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 90s hip hop and 90s R&B was so great because they had so many people to sample from.
Right.
That's why the 90s era of music was so great, because they had James Brown, and they had, man.
But you got to remember again, they really didn't have to see when I was younger, hip hop started breaking in. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, we used to have the basement parties in the little short mic cord that was like this big and had one of them stereophonic joints, and it was past the mic. Like you wait in line and get up there and spit what you had to spit to keep it moving. And that was back in like 78, about 78. So then Sugar Hill Gang came out there and we was like, whoa, they didn't get on the radio like that. So now, of course, everybody and their mama wanted to be a rapper. I went in the military, but everybody wanted to be a rapper. So, but the bottom line was, back then, our hip hop was so new that people didn't understand what sampling was. You know what I'm saying? It was just like the DJ, because we scratched in the basement. DJ played the music and you hit the mic. So that's what they were doing when they was out there. Because if you notice, they don't have like a beat machine or something that's beating in the air. Almost every rap group had a DJ with them, and the DJ was scratching on set. You see what I'm saying? That was their beats. So now that after they started doing that, it was like, oh, hold up, wait a minute, because that's my song and I'm not making no money off of that because he's using my beats. So now, of course, as time goes by, it made it a lot harder, because back then, like I said, it was on deck.
Samples nowadays.
Huh?
Those artists are getting a lot of money from these samples nowadays.
Oh yeah,
too.
no doubt.
Like, look, saw Marvin Gaye family estate got from
ain't no Marvin Gaye family. His daughter, she went ham. But another thing is but you got to be careful when you want to sample something, who you're sampling from, because not for nothing, if their estate is entangled with IRS or something like that, you're gonna be entangled with them too. So you have to it's very important for artists to know that when you're mapping out your song, make sure you map out all the technicalities so that you don't get trapped off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and there's ways to get around some of the things, but you just have to know how to do it and how to get, permission, or how to be inclusive with whoever did whatever they did. So it's really a dog eat dog thing. But if you do it the right way, then they won't come back and chop you in the head. So
I got a couple samples on my album.
Yeah. So let's get into this song. I want you to introduce the song. If you have it, play it. If not, I'll play it in the credits. What you got? You got it?
I don't got it on. You probably
got it on. Well, well, could you spit the speech part?
Don't give me the line. I ain't gonna remember it by heart. But
if you remember a couple of bars of it, that'll work.
I'm sorry. I got YouTube. I can just put. Oh, I got it right. Plug my TV. I can just hook it up.
Right? You can take a second. You can take a second and do that because we get edited. So.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, I got an editor. While you do that, I'm gonna hit this fan.
Here you go. You can hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So introduce the song for us. Introduce it.
Oh, yeah, that we added. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this is my intro from my album, and it's called Social Injustice. This is weird because the intro, I never heard of anybody intro getting so much controversy and becoming so famous.
You
It's
said
becoming famous, I
something.
guess, but
You gotta remember, I'm going in mommy mode now. You said something. So if you say something
yeah,
that means something, somebody gonna come after you for something, or they're gonna be looking at you because you said something.
this is true.
You know what I'm saying? And whether it was
I'm
positive for
yeah,
one or struck a nerve on the other, you said something that made sense. And either they liked it
yeah.
or it offended them. One of the two. I'm sure you've made a post on social media before where people like, dang, why you say that? But you
Oh,
weren't
all the
even talking
time,
to them.
all
But
the
now that
time.
they mention it, you was like, well, I must have been talking about them, you know?
Man, I can't even post on social media because every time I post on social media, people get pissed about it.
Yeah,
Like,
you talking about me? You talking about me? Like,
yeah,
no.
like, yeah, I ain't said your name, but that's why
Right.
every time I post, I always hit hashtag IJS. I'm just saying.
Right. Right. There you go. I'm gonna have to bite that from you because see, when I do that, people like, wow, why you say that about me? Somebody said you was talking about me. I ain't talking about you. This came up the top of my head. I just said it. It is what it
But
is. But I'm
even
gonna
when
put
I say that,
hashtag
even when I say that,
IJS.
they get offended by it.
Right.
They get offended by it even when I put that on there. I'm like, damn, y'all still mad? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to be a talk show host.
You're gonna be all yeah, you're gonna be all right though. But go
But
ahead and hit that so we can hear what you was talking about. You know everybody waiting.
okay, this is my intro from my album Life Owe Me a Win, which is on all digital platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever sells music, screams music is on there. But this is the intro, Social Injustice by me, Floss Jones. Check it out.
All right.
I'm gonna try to see if I can remember some of it. Let me treat it as an unequal. So that's important. That's
I'm gonna have
about
to put it on in the credits because it's hard to hear, but we gonna get that in there on the credits. So I just need you to send
yeah,
me that snip right
exactly.
there, and I'm gonna put it in the credits so we can hear it. Also,
I can see.
tell
I
everybody where
email
they
it to
can
you.
find you on social media.
Well, you can find me on Facebook, JLK Floss. No, Floss Jones on Facebook. JLK Floss Jones on Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media. I'm on all of this Floss
So
Jones. You
everything
need to
is
type in Floss.
JFK Floss
Well,
Jones.
except for Facebook, but you can still type in Floss Jones and
Oh,
find
well,
me.
Facebook you can find Floss Jones because that's just like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
You
All
know,
right.
yeah, on
Well,
Facebook. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw your intro on there at the end of the show, in the credits. And I really appreciate your time. I thank you so much. Do you have any new projects coming up?
Well, right now I'm just kind of playing it by ear. Like since I dropped this album,
Mhm.
since I'm getting back into it, thanks to my daughter, because my daughter, one of the reasons why I got back into it too, because she in high school and she wanted to be an actress and an artist too, so she got that from me.
Right.
So she's like,
Throw she
Dad,
on any of your joints?
no, not yet, not
All
yet.
right.
I want her
All
to
right.
finish. I want her
Well,
to
let
finish
me know
school.
when you do something and she's on one of your joints or you're on one of her joints. Let me know. We throw her in the mix too.
Exactly. Oh, she gonna be ready. Well, when she come out, she gonna be ready because I
Yeah.
develop artists too. That's what I
Okay.
do. I'm
Okay.
also I develop artists too. So I
Oh,
get artists
nice.
right before the spotlight. I get them. I get them. I teach them how to do dress, how to make their music, how to do
Uh,
interviews, type stuff. I teach
oh,
them all that to
nice.
get
Oh,
ready
we're
for
gonna
the
have to
world.
link
So,
up and do something for the artist then
of course,
together.
I'm with
Yeah,
it.
we
I'm
with
with
it.
that.
Okay, at that
Yeah,
beautiful studio in South Carolina in KC. I love that studio. Oh my
yeah,
God.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Studio
that
man.
studio.
Shouts out to VA.
Yeah, VA and Phil Banks and everybody, the whole crew over there, boy, and it's spotless too. That's what I like. It's
The whole
spotless,
album.
smell
Yeah.
good, all that. So
Yeah, it's actually a hidden spot. People don't really, not too many people know about it, but that's one of my favorite studios to go to be honest with you. That's
oh
the
well,
best
it's
studio
our
I've
it's
been
our
to.
it's our new favorite spot. We will
Yeah,
travel to get
exactly.
there. Yeah, definitely that. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. You're listening to Music Biz with Miss G. I'm your host, Miss G. This was my guest, Floss Jones. I appreciate you stepping through, friend, and looking forward to the next things coming up. So, and don't forget,
Oh, matter of
everybody, I'm gonna
fact,
put that in the credits. Okay.
matter of fact, yeah, matter of fact, I am working on something. I'm working on a film. Like it's gonna be like a soap opera type, it's gonna be like a black soap opera type thing. It's gonna be called The Powers. I'm working on that. We
Okay.
still in the making. We still on the writing and production of it. But hopefully by the summer we'll get something rolling on it.
All right. Well, let me know if you're gonna need any music for that, because I'm sure we can skim through some
Oh
music
yeah.
from artists, or just send them through me, and I'll let you know what's what.
Oh
Me and
most definitely.
Phil.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, I look forward to linking back up with you soon, sir.